Awesome. Yes. Welcome back to Live Lifts. My name is Dr. James. And you have joined the Max Out Deadlift Day. The last two that we've done Max Out on squat. If you missed that live stream, please do go watch it. It was great fun. It's maxing out on squats, and I surprised myself as how much I could do. And you may have seen the Max Out on bench press, which was equally fantastic. So as you know, these have got no rubber coil on the middle, so they're a bit difficult to get on. So as you know, we have been training for 7 months now, and it has all come down to this, maxing out on our strength work. So, let's get into it. We'll do our first warm-up set, and then we'll go through what we're going to do today. I have done some bits and bobs to warm up off screen as well, but I'm starting with an empty bar because I want to show you how to max out properly, not just messing around, any gimmicks. Power, beautiful. Yeah, it feels smooth. So, we're doing deadlift today. So we did squat first, then we did bench. Now we're doing deadlift. And the reason why we did that was because to optimize the deadlift, I had to recover from the squats. And I did quite a lot on the squat. It was quite a lot of weight. And I wanted to make sure that I was completely recovered, because it's important. So, So welcome back to my channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome to all the current and consistent subscribers who've been watching from the very start. Let's go up a little bit heavier. Max out on deadlift day. Stick around. Lots to come. So, we need some 15s. Sorry, mate? Yeah, you might win. There we go. Right. I'm going to go from 70 to 100, and I'll go through more of the preamble in a second. Very important, some stuff, principles I want to run through with you. Justify what we're doing. Show you how to do it properly. Let's get this set up first. Might be easier to have the 1.25 just there. Whew. We get nice and warm. Right, that's ready for the next set. Right, let me go through this with you. I have done this in previous streams, but you never know when someone's going to catch this stream, and they may just stumble upon the screen. The algorithm may just suggest it at any time. So it's important for me to go over the principles again in each max out day. And let me find my page. Here we go, muscular strength. Right, let's have a quick look. What have we got? Can I plug pin this onto the book. That would be good. Right. Whew. Before we do the second set, so as always, authentic and unedited on live lifts. No gimmicks, everything's natural, no wraps and straps. I wear these wrist wraps, that's about it. So what we're doing today, max out on deadlift. We're going as heavy as we can. And we never ever do that, and I advocate on this channel. I was just chatting to Phil off screen. He was saying his son is like 14 and he's lifting 120 and he's doing fantastic with his lift, but he keeps doing these 1 rep maxes. And we were talking about the principle of avoiding doing 1 rep max, but training sub-maximally. And I'm going to keep talking about sub-max training on this channel until I turn blue in the face and the cows come home. Sub-max training is the absolute fundamental, most fantastic way to train. That is why we have made so much progress on this channel. And it's why we've managed to stay injury-free and avoid plateaus. And most of all, it's fun and you keep enjoying it, and you've always got a new goal, you've always got a new thing to hit. So essentially, I'm gonna do another set now because I don't want to cool down and I want to get up through this weight up to my maximum. And along the way, we're going to talk about the principles of how to do why and how to do 1 rep max properly. And we're going to talk about some principles of muscular strength and muscular endurance, and we're going to back it up with the ACSM guidelines, and we're going to critique the guidelines as well on what their definition and how to test for upper body strength, and what their definition, how they test for lower body strength as well. So we will go through that. Right, let's do another set. Right, let's do another set. Oh, I'm feeling so fresh. We'll go through how I'm feeling after the last session as well, because we did bench press and I did a lot more bench press than I thought I would ever be able to do. So we achieved a new all-time record as well as the season's best, a personal best, and an all-time record. Smashing records every live stream for the last 6 weeks. Beauty. Come on. Still warming up, still warming up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 4 reps. Beautiful. That's 100, isn't it? So, we'll go up again. We'll go up 120. Then we'll have another chin wag. We'll have another chit chat. Come on. Let's get some 25s. Phil, could you do us a favour? Could you grab one of these 25s for us? Is that all right? Thanks, mate. An extra pair of hands. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, warmed up off screen, warmed up the shoulders and the traps, warmed up the lower back, warmed up the abs, warmed up the hamstrings. And one of the tips and principles I'll also give you is on your deadlift day, as you'll notice from the streams, I don't do deadlift and squat on the same day. I may do a heavy squat with a lighter version of deadlift, or vice versa, heavy deadlift, lighter squat, but I try to separate them completely. However, on my heavy deadlift days, I will include squat in my warm-up. So I've gone up to 80 kilos, 100 kilos today on a squat off screen before I started the stream. Because what it does is it switches on your legs. Now, I've tried to do deadlift days without doing that and just do the deadlift, warm up your hamstrings, warm up your lower back, get through the motor pattern of doing the deadlift. But on the days, what I've noticed is when I've included some squats in the warm-up as well, and if that's just the bar, 60 kilos, 80 kilos, 100 kilos, or whatever works for you, you're going to find your deadlift is much more efficient and you're much more switched on when you come to actually do your main lift. So when I'm in the deadlift position down on the floor, very, very deep, in the base, the power in the base, I'm already so charged up and switched on and warmed up because I've been doing those really, really, really deep squats during my warm-up. I think that makes a huge difference. And that ties into the principle that we teach on this channel, which is to really charge up and switch on the nervous system, not just the muscles. So the motor pattern, as well as the recruitment of your central nervous system. Right. Let me get back to the books. Right, we're going to go through 5 principles here of how to 1 rep max. So how to 1 rep max. What we've got here is we've got the ACSM guidelines for exercise testing and prescription. It is absolutely fantastic. Remember though, it is a guideline. Their evidence base is based on making sure it's applicable to the general population to improve exercise participation and making sure people are getting the minimal requirements and the minimal doses of exercise to have a healthy lifestyle. So essentially, in this chapter here, we are on page 82, and it's exercise testing and how to do 1 rep max testing properly. The reason why I wanted to include it in these streams was because you do see guys coming in and they'll just bang on loads of weight on the bar, and then they'll, within about 2 or 3 sets, they're like up to X amount of weight. They're struggling to lift it because they haven't warmed up properly, and they start to get problems and injuries. But there is a proper way to 1 rep max. Now, we're going to go through 5 points here. So, the following represents, I quote, the basic steps in 1 rep max or any multiple rep max testing. This must happen after familiarization and practice sessions. We've done loads of those because we've been training all season to build up to this point. So it's about getting used to the technique of the exercise as well. Number 1, the subject should warm up by completing a number of submaximal repetitions. We are doing that right now. We are doing a number of submaximal repetitions. We're doing 3s, 4s, and 5s on a submaximal percentage of weight. Number 2, determine the 1 rep max or any multiple rep max within 4 trials with rest periods of 3 to 5 minutes between trials. More than happy to do that. So we usually put 3 minutes on the clock. During these maxed out sessions, I've been putting 5 minutes on the clock. And usually done within 4 trials. Now, whether that means you build up to your maximum within 4 trials, or whether you determine your 1 rep max and you get 4 attempts and 4 trials, I think that's a little bit open for interpretation. I've been doing it where I've been giving myself 4 attempts once I've reached what I perceive to be my 1 rep max. So on the bench press day, I think I did 150 odd. You'll have to watch that stream, find out what I did. But I did 150 something, and I achieved it on my 3rd attempt. And I knew that if I was to increase the weight, I was, I had a go, but I was always going to fail. Number 3, select an initial weight that is within the subject's perceived capacity, 50 to 70% of capacity. So our initial weight here, this is 120 kilo. So we've done bar, 70, 100 kilo, 120. So that's 50 to 70% starting point. What we're now going to do is build on that 80%, 90%, and then we'll try to get up to our 1 rep max. Number 4, resistance is progressively increased by 2.5 to 20 kilograms until the subject cannot complete the selected repetitions. All repetitions should be performed at the same speed of movement and range of motion to instill consistency between trials. That's exactly what we're going to do. So we'll jump up by 15 to 20 kilos that we have been doing, and the higher the weight that we get to, the closer we get to our 1 rep max. We're only going to be able to go up by 5 kilos or 2.5 kilos or whatever it might be. You will see. Number 5, the final weight lifted successfully is recorded as the absolute 1 rep or multiple rep max, which is fair enough, kind of exactly what it says on the tin. And then we'll go through what is upper body and lower body leg strength testing after we've done another set. Whew, staying warm now. So let's try and see what we can do today. See what this 120 feels like. Do need a bit more chalk actually, we'll get that. Nice and deep. Yeah, 4 feels good. 4's nice. Don't need to be doing 8 to 10 reps on this. You're just warming up, you're aiming to save, switch things on, but aiming to perform and save yourself for those top sets. It's 120. So now we can go up by 20 kilos, can't we? So we're going to go at 140. So let's put on a couple of 10s. Ooh. Thanks for joining, guys. This is, you know, every season I kind of say I'm going to do, this is my last strength season, not going to do another one, I've really enjoyed it. But then every season I really enjoy it again. And this time I've recorded it, so I'm really happy with that. There's no 10s anywhere. There we go, some 10s. Oh, I've got 10s. Oh, use. Sometimes I'm just too prepared for my own good. Woo. Oh man, looking forward to this. I look forward to every session. Right, anyway, let's do a bit of stretching. I need some chalk as well before I forget. Bit of chalk for the boys. Right up. Smashing it. What a fantastic, fantastic strength season. Oh, thoroughly enjoyed it. Nice and warm now. Temperature is so key. Right, so we're going 140 next. Let me stretch these abs out. So, you can see me and hear me, can't you? That's fantastic. So, what we got here is, right, let's critique some of these guidelines. So, we are testing both. Essentially, what can we split it into? We are testing both upper body strength and lower body strength. Now, there are tables in this book, and you can find them online as well, that there are for your age and for your body weight and the amount that you can lift. They put you into categories to determine for your age, weight and strength what percentage of the general population you would fall into. So for example, if you're in the 50th percentile, got a fancy name called percentiles, meaning half the people in the world are stronger than you for your age and weight, and half the people are probably weaker than you for your age and weight and how much you can lift. Now what they do is they divide the kilograms that you can lift by your body weight. So if you are 100 kilos and you lift 100 kilos, you can lift 1. That's a 1 of your body weight. If you're lifting 150 kilos, you're lifting 1.5. If you're lifting 200 kilos for your 100 kilo body weight, like me, then you're lifting twice your own body weight, which is absolutely tremendous. So that's going to be based on your age as well. However, some of the critique that I'm going to say about this is they've chosen exercises that what they perceive as the majority of the population can do, and one of those exercises is bench press, and that's for upper body strength. I do disagree with that because I don't think bench press for me is the greatest selection, because the pec is quite a small muscle. It hits the triceps and shoulders, whereas something like chin up hits the broader lat muscle, hits the abs, hits the chest as well, and the rotator cuff and the arms and the biceps, and it can hit the triceps as well a little bit. So I think, but however, the chin up is a really, really hard exercise, and it's not going to be an exercise that everybody can do. Some people just can't even do 1 rep. So bench press is something that I think most people can do to some degree. So that's why they've selected it. So you can look at those, and that's based on the aerobics research, Institute for Aerobics Research in Dallas in '94, and it was a population study to determine a data set of white male college-educated athletes who used 1 rep max measurement doing bench press. And also for leg strength, what they choose is they ask you to do a leg press, which I can only assume is with a machine, a seated leg press machine, or leg extension, which is going to hit the quadriceps, and they base that on lower body strength. Again, how applicable is that? It's an exercise that everybody can perform. However, is it a true test of lower body strength? Probably not. I think deadlift is a bit better, and I think squat is even better. Squat is an ultimate lower body strength testing exercise. So let's do another set. Muscular strength. We'll talk about muscular strength next. And we'll go through some of these principles. Let's go up 140, see how we're doing. Bit of chalk. We'll see what we can do today. I want to stay nice and safe with this one. Respect the deadlift. Oh. Running out of chalk. End of the season. Right, here we go. Two reps is good enough. And we'll jump up. So what am I aiming for? I don't know. And that's the exciting beauty of it, really. We were doing 160 for reps, so I'm hoping to certainly get more than that. So we'll see if we can do 170, 175, 180. We will see what we can do, as long as we're enjoying it. Go up by another 10 kilos. I think we'll go up by 10 now. So that's going to be 140 to 150. And what I need to do is set the timer now, because we're getting more towards our working set. So we need 5 minutes on the clock, which I'll set up. I'm going to take a full 5 minutes rest. Here we go, where's my timer? So there's 5 minutes on the clock. It's all right, isn't it? We can see that. 5 minutes. An honest 5 minutes, and then we can get a proper appreciation. If we control all our parameters such as speed of movement, technique, range of movement, time for recovery and rest, then we've got a good data set to go off. Go make sure we've just going to stretch out a little bit. Whew. Yeah, awesome, nice and limbered up. Right, let me grab a seat. See if we can sit on the corner of this. Right, so we're just talking about standardizing things. So let's talk about standardized conditions or protocols. And this is what we spoke about in the earlier stream about some of the research reviews that we've done. A lot of the time with exercise testing and the data that we use, it's usually down to really poor data collection or inconsistencies between data collection. So in this instance now, what can we do to standardize our conditions or protocols? Strict posture, number one, strict posture. Of course, you want strict posture because you want to have really, really good technique. Consistent repetition, duration, movement speed. You can count what that's right for you. If that's 2 or 3 seconds up and down, more explosive, positive phase, pull-in phase, pushing phase, whatever that might be. As long as it's consistent. Full range of motion, absolutely always. Number 4, use of spotters when necessary. We do that. That's fantastic. Number 5, equipment familiarization. So that's probably one of the hardest parts, and it brings me to the point that I find equipment familiarization in terms of deadlift. Deadlift, I think, is the hardest one to do technically. I think it's a really, really technical exercise to stay so strict. I think squat is the hardest exercise, but I think deadlift is the most technically difficult. And if you get it wrong, it's so obvious, and it makes a difference. I think deadlift is one that needs to be taught properly with a proper coach, and making sure that you are not jumping up the weights too quickly, particularly if you're just starting. And the 6th one is proper warm-up, which of course we talk about a lot on this channel. Really good. Right, we're going to talk about a bit about 1 rep maximum. We've got 1 minute and 20 to do it. So, what is 1 rep maximum? So, in terms of muscular strength, traditionally the 1 repetition maximum, 1 RM, is the greatest resistance that can be moved through full range of motion in a controlled manner with good posture. Has been the standard for dynamic strength assessment. However, a multiple rep max can be used, such as a 4 or 8 rep max, as a measure of muscular strength, which may allow for the participant to integrate evaluation into their training program. For example, if one were to train with a 6 to 8 rep max, the performance of a 6 reps max to momentary muscular fatigue would provide an index of strength changes over time, independent of the true 1 rep max. And therefore, estimating a 1 rep max from such sets, like a 6 rep max, is problematic and generally not necessary. And I agree with that, because what they're saying is if you can lift a certain weight for 6 reps, there's no way you can calculate what your 1 rep max is. And there's a lot of online calculators that say they could do that. It'll give you some guidance and indication, but it's never exact. But what the sub max training or the 6 rep max training is good for is it allows you to get reps out consistently, safely, and still get stronger independent of your 1 rep max, so it prevents hitting plateaus, and it certainly prevents, there's the alarm, it prevents hitting plateaus, and it certainly prevents injuries and problems building up, chronic overuse type pains. Right, let's see if we can do another set now. So we're going up what's this now, 150. We need a nice big drive, don't we? We should be well warmed up now, come on. 1 or 2 reps, come on. Yeah, that felt really smooth actually. That felt beautiful. That felt really good. That 140 was really hard. I don't know why. That 140 was tough, but that 150 just then, that felt really smooth. That felt gorgeous. Beauty. Right, let's go for the 160. Building up nice and steady. Ooh. There we go. Right, sound. 160, so that's 10 kilos more plus. So what they're saying there in the guidelines essentially is if you're doing multiple rep max, so if you put on a heavy weight and you can do it for 6 to 8 reps, that's fine. You can say on its own, I can do, for example, you might want to say, I can do 30 kilos for 6 reps, and that is my maximum. I can't do any more than that. But what you can't do is say, because I can do 30 kilos for 6, I could probably do 50 kilos for 1. It just doesn't work like that. However, when it's used on its own, the 6 rep max is a really nice indicator to say, all right, in the next session, what I'm going to do, because I've achieved 6 reps at 30 to failure, and that was my maximum, in my next session, I might be able to do 32 kilos or 31 kilos, even just 1 kilo more, 1.5 kilos more, 2 kilos more, 2.5 kilos more. And you might be able to do that for 6 reps, or you might be able to do that for 5 reps. But that way of training, what they're saying, is definitely a good way to track your progress as well. Contrary to that, on the opposite hand, it's actually, if you're constantly doing 1 rep maxes, it's actually really, really hard to assess and gain how strong you are, because it's really hard every session to keep going up to that extreme amount of weight. Eventually your body will start to break down and you'll start to get injuries, and it's just blooming boring, and it gets a bit boring and you don't want to get bored, and you want to fail to some degree, but you don't want to keep racking up to the extremes of your abilities and failing all the time, because that's just, it's degeneration for the body, it's degeneration for your nervous system. You just start to feel completely tired. And that's one of the problems I have with Pavel Tatsoon and his articles, which I will review, and I'm going to review them on the channel in a different stream. And his principles are kind of like train to maximum every day of the week, and then on day 5 and 6, he has another way of doing things, and it's like, oh, on this day you'll be able to do another, complete maximum. I mean, it's not sustainable. You could probably do it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and you're just like, I'm maxing out every session, and I'm just tired, and there's no room for recovery at all. But we'll talk about that in a completely different session. here's me rabbiting on. And I didn't start the clock, so I'm going to take 2 minutes off that. I was talking for 2 minutes there, wasn't I? Right. Here we go. They also include military press as well for upper body strength. I think, again, it's because most people can do it. Really good. So, talk a little bit about muscular strength and endurance. So essentially, the American College of Sports Medicine has melded, beautiful term, has melded the terms muscular strength and muscular endurance into a category termed muscular fitness. It's included as an integral portion of total health and fitness in a position stand on the quantity and quality of exercise to achieve and maintain fitness. Muscular strength, what we're doing now, strength, is the ability of the muscle to exert a force. However, muscular endurance is the muscle's ability to continue to perform for successive exertions or many repetitions. Now, what we do in this channel is ties into this next bit, which it says, traditionally, tests allowing few, as in 3 or less, repetitions of a task to reaching muscle fatigue have often been considered strength measures, whereas those in which numerous repetitions, as in 12 or more, are performed before fatigue, are considered measures of muscular endurance. However, the performance of maximum repetition range, such as 4 to 6 to 8, can also be used to assess strength. So you can do it for 4, 6 or 8 reps as long as you're going to complete failure. This next bit's interesting here. So muscle function tests, they're very specific to the muscle group tested. So if you're testing leg extension, you're mainly looking at quadriceps. So that makes sense, doesn't it? So very specific to the muscle group tested, the type of contraction and the velocity of muscle movement and the type of equipment and the range of motion. Results of any one strength test are specific to the procedures used, and no single strength test or exercise exists for evaluation of total body muscular endurance or muscular strength. So that's interesting, isn't it? You can't just say, you know, even though squat uses probably the most muscles, it's still not an accurate way to say it's an examination of my overall strength, because it's specific to that squatting movement in that one position, that one range of movement, and that speed that you work at and the equipment that you've used. So I think that's fantastico. Anyway, that gives you some introduction as to what a 1 rep max is and how important it is to do it properly. That's why I wanted to use these streams to make sure it's all done proper. And there is our timer. See what this 160 feels like. Let's engage. Come on. Feeling really fresh. Come on, nice and steady. Engage, core, abs. Switch everything on, come on. Ah! Beautiful. 160, piece of cake. Should try the 170. Yeah. Let's try the 170. Come on. Nice and steady. Start the clock. Full 5 minutes. I've so enjoyed this strength season. Like, not even because it's like I finally got one on film. It's just been so good to travel as well and go to different places, different gyms, and every single season, every single time that you do it, you learn so much more as well, and you always surprise yourself. For me personally, of all the different training types that I've done in the gym, you know, I've done the whole, let's say it's introduction when you're a complete beginner and you come in doing your biceps and you want to see instant results, you know, as a young guy. You know, you want chest and arms and shoulder, yeah. But actually, you know, you do your weights and you traditionally you start with weights and cardio, and you'll come in and you do workout and then you'll be like, right, I'm on the treadmill, I'm going to do some running. And I just find that like you can do it for like 6 to 8 weeks and then you're just like, it just gets a bit the same. You hit a plateau very quickly. In this type of training, what I've noticed is it's much harder to hit a plateau. It's much harder to like hit a block or hit a wall where you just feel like you are unable to progress. Much harder to hit because every session you're hitting like a new repetition, a new range, a new weight, a new challenge. It's just, and it all comes down to like, you know, seeing what you can do at the end of the season when you've built up all your strength. Oh yeah, I've seen you for ages. You all right? Okay, just a minute to go. 1 minute 20. I'm going to try and not use these wraps. The wraps here around my wrist, they're really helpful for like when you're doing reps. Do you remember we were doing like deadlift for reps, sub-max reps, so you're doing like 5 or 6 reps. Obviously, of course, your grip strength goes. I find them useful for that, but we should be all right not using them if we're just doing 1 rep. But let's see. Oh. 1 minute to go. Oh, come on. 20 seconds. And we've got chin-ups and shoulder press to do as well. We max out on those, as well as farmer's carry. See what we can do for 20 meters. 5 seconds. This alarm's going to go off. Okay, that's 5 minutes. Come on, big step. Big breath. Good techers, come on. Good abs. Felt smooth. Felt good. A bit surprised at that. 5 minutes. Oh. Can we go 180? Should put in another 5. Yeah, we can. Take 5 off. Put 10 on. Oh. Business end of the session. Oh. A lot of this now is mental focus, mental preparation. So I talk a lot at the beginning of the stream while it's lighter to introduce the concepts and the principles, but of course now got to engage. Two and a half minutes. Come on. 180. This is a new season's best. In fact, it might be an all-time record, actually. I don't think I've ever done 180 before. I've just never needed to. Because we did the Smolov squat program and we maxed out on squats. And during the Smolov program, you don't really have a chance to do any deadlift because you're trying to recover so much because it's such an intense squat program. But that's why I prefer the style of training that I've done on this channel for the last 7 months, because it does allow you to hit everything as well as having variety. It's not just like so restricted as the Smolov, which is literally just squats. You're squatting for 12 weeks and that, like nothing else. You eat, sleep and drink squats. So let's set a new record, hey? We've been doing that a lot recently. Really happy with the bench press that we did. Really happy with the squats, the squats and the bench maxing out days. Oh, absolutely unbelievable. You can really surprise yourself. Especially when you're doing it properly and there's no ego involved. You're just like, it's quite nice to underestimate yourself, really. Right, this is going up, no fail, nice and steady. Hungry for more. How long have we got? 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Siri says it's time to go. Come on. Focus. Ah! Oh, that was tough. Didn't feel right like that, did it? What happened there? Well, just for transparency, do you know what I've gone and done? I've achieved the weight, but I forgot to take the 5 off one side. So what does that mean? Does that count as a lift? I've never been in this situation before. What does the judge say? It's probably counting as a no lift, isn't it? Did feel a bit heavy on one side. Right, I'm going to do the 180. I'm going to do the 180 again. That's my fault. I don't know why I didn't take it off. Because everything looks the same. It's because it's the same colour. Maybe. That's why they have different coloured discs. 60. Oh, I know what I didn't do. No, that's my fault. I put the 5 on one side and not on the other, so that's why we do it live, authentic. But that's my own thing. That's my own silly mistake, really. So that's 120, 60, 70, 80. Does that make sense? 20, 60, 180. Yeah, that is 180. What am I saying? Yeah, that is 180. For some reason, I must have put an extra 5 on one side. That's my own mistake. Got a rush of blood to the head. Can't count at these high numbers now. It's my own mistake. Still did it though. We'll have another go. But I'm only going to give myself, yeah, that's just a 2.5 minute rest. Let's double check. It's my own it's my own fault. It's my own responsibility. Because I've seen guys who other people load the bar for them, and there's been some discrepancies. But if you load your own bar, then it's all on you. It's my responsibility to check. So what have we got? 20, 160, 170. Yeah, that's definitely 180. Don't know why I put the 5 on one side. Why did I do that? Anyway, we'll have another go. We know we can do it. We know we can do 190 now, don't we? Or what would that be? 185, but lopsided. Can't make it up, can you? It's all a learning process. Right, I'll do it again in 1 minute. Don't think we expended too much energy. 50 seconds. Ah. Glute switched on. So I do feel really good after the last session. We did bench press, didn't we? I didn't feel any soreness. I thought it'd be really weird. I thought I'd be really, really sore. But I think that's testament to having a lot of muscle fitness and training how we've trained all season. Haven't been so fatigued or tired after the max out days. It's been really good. Right, let's do the 180 for definite this time. Easy. The question is, do we go 190 or 185? Now we're hitting these top numbers. Sometimes the increment is I think we go 190. What do you think? Do we jump up by 10? Need to think. Let's start the timer. 5 minutes. It's all about perceptions, isn't it? Because you want to perceive an achievable weight, but you want to max it out as well. But as we saw on the squat day, if you perceive a weight that you think you can do and you fail, once you've had the experience of lifting it, your body responds to it, and then your second and third attempt, you can actually achieve it. So let's think. That was starting to feel heavy, considering I did 2 of them as well. Let's try 190 then. Because if we think about the initial lifting off phase, it did feel smooth and it did feel safe. And it did go up quite smooth, didn't it? I'm going 185 because then it will give us a better gauge for what the 190 is going to be like, and we can take it from there. So I've gone up by 5 kilos and not 10 now, which is sound. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please hit a thumbs up on the video if you have a spare moment. See what we can do, man. Positive. So one of the hardest, when you're starting this training, I know we're at the very end but at the season, but the same principles apply. If you have come from a different type of training background where you're used to like CrossFit or bodybuilding or something that's a little bit more intensive and quite endurance based or conditioning based, one of the hardest adaptations you're going to find is accepting that you need 3 minutes rest or 5 minutes rest. That's really, really psychologically hard, because it's really hard to not do anything for that time, because you're so used to like being so active in the gym and doing another set. But if you just slow down your session and you take that 3 minutes rest, providing you've got an adequate weight on the bar that's going to challenge you and you're doing things correctly, you will come to appreciate that 3 to 5 minutes. It will become your friend, and it will come and go quicker than you often expect. You will come to value that rest period. It's hard to appreciate at the start, because when you're starting off, you're still learning the techniques, and the amount of weight you can lift for the technical ability that you have might not stress and strain you as much, so you actually need the 3 minutes, but it's a good practice to do that from the start, because as the weight builds up, which it will, sometimes it's 2.5 or 5 kilos a week, or sometimes 10 kilos a month that you're adding to the bar. That's what we've done on this channel over the last 7 months. We've pretty much added about 10 kilos a month to our lifts. It soon catches up on you, and you'll soon realize that the amount of stress and strain you have, you will require the full 3 minutes. Or in this case, 5 minutes, because it's maxing out day. Right, come on, let's focus now. Come on, let's get this up. Come on. Get your shoulders back. Switch those lats on. You can't have your shoulders arching forward, because it's going to curve your back, you see. Got to get right underneath the bar. Right up the front of the shins. That was tough. Oof. But we did it. Let's go 190. Not bad with no belt. No other equipment that people use. There's lots of things nowadays. Bearing in mind, there's no like knee wraps and belts and gum shields. So you have to be happy based on your own personal performance, not that compared to somebody else's. Right, let's see how this feels. We need to start the clock. I think I'm going to put 4 minutes on, because that was about a minute changing the weights over, wasn't it? Let's see what we can do. Oh, wow. Do you know what, that really hit? I felt the quads working then, actually. And you will feel that. I mentioned at the start of the stream that squat is the hardest exercise, but deadlift is the most technically difficult from a technique point of view. And when you're doing deadlift properly, I always say, and I've always said on this stream, it's a legs exercise. You will actually feel your hamstrings working. your glutes. And in that set there, I honestly felt my quads working. You'll also feel your abs, and you should or you may feel some strain on your pecs as well, as they are working with the lats to stabilize the shoulder. And the bar being in front of you as a center of gravity, you're going to have that natural pull down through the shoulder, through the pec, which will stabilize the shoulder girdle. So you will feel it if you're doing it. The only time you probably feel it is if you're like doing really, really, really heavy with good technique, with proper technique, or if you're doing the deadlift for a lot of reps at a reasonably heavy weight. That's sometimes a good way to find out what areas and what muscles and exercise will work. If you load it up slightly and just do lots and lots and lots of reps with good technique, you'll soon figure out what is actually working, what's at play. Let's see if we're about to hit our maximum. Got to make sure back is nice and straight. So 2 minutes. Okay. So I've decided some of the conditioning I'm going to do in the summer, I'm going to be getting up very early in the morning. I'm going to do some beach runs, rain or shine. If the tide is in or the tide is out, I'm running along the beach. I've got the gear for it. I've got some Nike they've got some ACG, it's ACG all conditions gear. So I've got some absolutely fantastic all conditions gear running shoes, which you can go on any terrain. We're waterproof as well, so I'll be doing some beach running in the mornings. And what that will do is if I do a cardio session, some running in the morning on sand, because sand is the hardest to run on. Well, ice is obviously hard, you fall over, but sand is, from a real challenging point of view, running on the beach is just the most fantastic thing. And then on some days I can also do an evening session where I can do some more conditioning, whether that's some classes. And I introduce things like cycling and swimming, as I mentioned, non-weight bearing exercises that's got low to no impact on the joints. Because we put a lot of weight through our legs during the whole season that we do. We do a lot of heavy leg work. So I do emphasize doing some low or non-weight bearing exercises. Swimming's fantastic, cycling's fantastic. Running on sand, a softer surface as well. Right, let's see what we can do. Positive, it's going up. Come on. Drive through the legs. Drive through the legs, come on. No, not budging. We'll try again. We'll try again. Is that 75 kilos increase, isn't it? Give it another shot. It's possible. It moved. Let me find some positives. It moved. And I was engaged. To 190, come on. Yeah. See that 2.5 kilos each side, just that 5 kilo increase, it can make a huge difference at these top weights. Top percentages. We might have to, we've got the 1.25 and the 2.5 on standby if we need to calibrate or titrate the weight. We did 1 rep with the wrong weight on one side. Maybe that, a little bit of energy in the tank there. But that's a learning experience. Let's have another go, come on. Oh, triceps are switched on as well. Works everything, doesn't it? Come on. So there was 4 minutes on the clock. I'm fine with that, a 4-minute rest. Considering it as a failed lift. Forty seconds. Come on. No, definitely not. You can feel it. So if I take 5 off, we did the 2.5, didn't we? Let's drop it by 2.5 kilos. So I've gone 187.5. So I couldn't do the 190. I had 2 attempts. So that's 160, 80. Oh no, hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on a minute. 160, 85, 187. Yeah, we'll do the 187. I didn't take the 5 off, that's all right. That's it. So that's 187. So we'll try this 187, because we did 185. We didn't do the 190, we couldn't do the 190. 2 attempts. Yeah, it wasn't even budging. If I was getting like up a bit or like halfway, then fair enough. Yeah, you've got to be realistic. You've got to be honest with yourself. Sound. Yeah, we'll try this 187. So that's the 185 was definitely achievable. See if this 2.5 kilos makes a difference. We'll see. It may do. You'd be surprised. Quick water break. Stay loose. One and a half minutes. We have another go. Aim for success. Come on, it's 1.7. 187's got to go up. Come on, let's fight. 20 seconds. Come on, this has to go up. I don't think that counts as a lift. It kind of slipped. Got up though, didn't it? Right, I think that is our weight though, isn't it? You see the difference between just 2.5 kilos. So I think we have a 4-minute rest and we have another attempt at that. But it's got to count as a lift because it slipped out, didn't it? Let's be honest. But can you see the difference that just 2.5 kilos makes? And that's sometimes what it's like. And they're the fine margins that can be hard to appreciate. Because this is the thing where, it's easy to throw on plates and plates and plates, but sometimes the fine margins are where you're going to really get the most benefit. Right, let's hold on to it this time. It just slipped out of my hand, I don't know. Bit of grip strength maybe, I don't know. Felt good though, felt good. Felt smooth. Keeps you hungry for more, honestly. Right, we've just about got enough time because the gym is also about to close. I don't want to keep them waiting, of course. Come on. Definitely hold on to that. Ooh. Two minutes. I might use these straps now just to help that grip. I might be able to do it this time even without, because it would have been some feedback. Let's try it without. Yeah, we've got 5 minutes and 1.5 minutes to go on this rest period. I made up with that. That was good. I think they're the positive moments when you realise things are achievable if you keep trying. Come on, this has to go up. "30 seconds. Come on. Make sure you lock it out. Make sure you grip. Come on, come on, come on. Hold on to it, come on. Come on. All right, let's see if we get a little bit of chalk on, because that might just help us with some friction. Come on, come on, come on. Big grip. Everything else is there. Big grip. Just gotta hold on to it now. let's finish on a positive. Yes! That one counts. Finish on a positive. Yes! Right. Thank you. I've got to finish. The gym's closing, but that's amazing. Yeah, it's 187. I think that's an honest assessment. 190 wouldn't budge. I tried. Thank you for watching. It's appreciated. Damn, that's satisfying. I'm hungry for more though. I keep practicing. Could get that 190. Oh. Thank you for joining the live lifts and max out session on deadlift. Do catch the other two streams on the bench and the squat. Fantastic. Gotta go. Gym's closing. And I'm gonna tidy up. So, see you later. Stay strong.